Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the AV Club, a Mythos Busters production, where we look at cards that we've played with for a very long time. With me tonight is Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hello. Hello.
We're looking at your least favorite class. How does this make you feel?
Glad I'm here for it, so I can finally set you guys straight.
Oh, good.
Wait, which class?
It's the Mystic class.
Oh, perfect.
Sean, your rebuttal.
I got nothing. I mean, how do you rebuke truth?
What, that Mystic is the worst class?
The Mystic is the worst class. Thanks, Sean.
Rebuke with truth against falsehood.
I'll give you a 3 for your recovery.
And a 1 for style.
Yeah.
Speaking of style, Sean, do you want to read our investigator, who is all up in them fine clothes?
He is. Those vestments sure are spiffy.
Mm-hmm. A man of the cloth, you might say.
All right, so Father Mateo is the priest. He's our mystic investigator. He's got 4 willpower, as you might expect, 3 intellect, 2 combat, and 3 agility. He is a believer and a warden by his traits. He has the reaction ability. After an investigator reveals an tentacle chaos token. I refuse.
And autofail.
And autofail, that's what they're going for?
Yeah.
Okay. Cancel that token and treat it as an Elder Sign token instead. Limit once per game. But wait, there's more! Elder Sign effect, you automatically succeed. After this test ends, either choose one, draw 1 card and gain 1 resource, or if it is your turn, you may take an additional action this turn. He has 6 health, 8 sanity. His deck is your standard 30. He can take Mystic cards 0 to 5, Blessed cards 0 to 3, and Neutral cards 0 to 5. Then, of course, he's got Codex of Ages, Serpents of Yeeg, and a random basic weakness. And if that wasn't enough, you begin the campaign with 5 additional experience.
Sadly, it turns out 5 additional experience isn't enough either.
Ooh.
Enough for what?
To be good.
Aw. Come
Mateo
on now.
my experience with Mateo has been rough. The fact that you're basically building a solid purple deck because Blessed right now is what? Custom ammo. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And he's not using that.
That's because the Blessed cards are meek. That's a Beatitudes joke for you right there, guys.
And they shall inherit the card game? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
His ability is awesome. Like I love that level of control, and then the versatility with his actual Elder Sign effect. But sadly, he just doesn't have tools. I think that he's below the rest of the Mystics as far as overall versatility goes.
I think I'd agree. Although I think that coming as a solo player mostly, I think he's bad solo.
Oh yeah.
I think he fits really well in 3 to 4 players as kind of a mid-range helpy. I do like jack of all trades, I kind of do everything but not anything well. And there's more chance you're going to draw the auto fail on something more critical. There's just more tests going on. And that ability to turn around a test, maybe something that's critical, maybe something that's just keeping you pace, I really like. I mean, his Elder Sign is possibly one of the most powerful ones in the game. I think
I would argue, yes.
I would argue the most. Yeah.
It kind of depends on your. There's a lot of factors, but yeah, top 3 at least.
Okay. But yeah, his deck building requirements kind of just leave him a bit dry for now. I mean, once we get more Blessed cards, maybe he'll turn stuff around, but
maybe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, his ability is literally, well, it's not literally, it's figuratively Deus Ex Machina, right? Like you're snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. And yeah, I would agree in multiplayer, it generally, there's usually a time where you're like, yep, we're using it now.
Mm-hmm.
His moment has come, let's do it. Whereas in solo, that moment, might not come as frequently. And you kind of have to, think to yourself like, okay, I just failed this investigate test for 1 or for 1 clue because I do the tentacle. Am I going to see the tentacle again? Should I pop this now to just keep myself going?
I think in solo, a lot of the times that and I haven't played a whole lot of them solo, but the times I have played solo, if it's like maybe a clue, something like that, I probably won't pop it. But any test of any significance, first chance I get, I take it. Because one, in solo, I mean, we've talked about this before, your actions are really compressed. Like you have a lot to do and very few actions, so saving that single action is great. Plus, you probably get another action. Like the tempo that you can maintain and possibly excel at, or accelerate with his ability in solo is insane. It just has to actually happen. In multiplayer, it's more of a, okay, we're getting near the end, we have to evade this guy. You do the math, okay, I'm 5 up, nothing can stop me except for the tentacle. Father Mateo still has his ability, you're good.
Yeah, he kind of, for a limited time, he makes nil that assertion that nothing can stop me but the tentacle, because while his ability is there, like even the tentacle can't stop you. It's and that has value just to have that in your back pocket.
So what do you guys find yourselves spending that 5 experience on at his starting, at like scenario 1 campaign? Mateo, what do you spend the 5 XP on?
Depends on the campaign. I would say in a vacuum campaign, Seal of the Elder Sign is really good for him, just because like I might drop that in place of an unexpected courage, just because being able to automatically succeed any test and then proc his ability, super solid. I also enjoy a grotesque statue, because the more tokens you see, the more likely you are to see that Elder Sign and be able to use his ability.
Sure.
In solo, I really like Crystalline Elder Sign, getting that +1 all the time, essentially. Like, I don't mind sealing it, because it just means I get +1 on every single skill test for here on out.
I know we're not reviewing that card, but anyone who tells you that sealing the +1 isn't worth it is just so mistaken.
They've never done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't understand probabilities. Yeah, we should probably move on to a 6, right?
Yeah, we should probably talk about those. So the Codex of Ages, Finis Omnium Nunc Est. My Latin's a bit rust. There you go. 2-cost asset, has a willpower pip and a wild icon. Pip. Item, relic, tome, and blessed. You get +1 willpower while there is a token seal here. And then reaction, when you would reveal a chaos token from the chaos bag, discard the Codex of Ages. Resolve the Elder Sign token that was sealed here as if it were just revealed from the chaos bag instead of revealing a token. Oh, also, sorry, Father Mateo deck only, seal the Elder Sign. Apparently that's important.
Kind of important.
Yeah, probably should have led with that.
Yeah, probably. I just kind of saw the Father Mateo deck only and just wiped over that line in my head. And it takes up a hand slot.
So with this and with getting Seal of the Elder Sign, you can pull what is that? 1, 2. You can get effectively 3 Elder Signs that shouldn't be there. That's pretty good. So, like, despite his limitations and his abilities, the cards that he comes with are super awesome. I just wish there was an easy way to get this thing in play.
Now, I will say, playing this in 4-player and taking the Elder Sign out, I feel very guilty.
That's a bit of a thing.
It is, and I think if you're playing 4-player, you use this over a turn or 2 at most.
Yeah,
sure.
When you're playing solo, this stays out for as long as you can, I think, until you really need that boost.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
I think it definitely stays out longer. I think in multiplayer, you're right. I mean, taking the Elder Sign out is a thing. You want to put it back in when you can. So I think when you play this down, you want to have an objective. You want to be like, okay, this test needs hitting over here. Let's go do that, and I will make sure it gets hit. I'm Mr. Fix-It. Mateo, fix it. Yeah.
I think something like if you're, let's say you have to attack something twice with Shriveling, putting this down, testing once with the +1 willpower, and then the second time throwing it away for the Elder Sign. Something like that. Like if the enemy is engaged with an opponent, or sorry, an opponent, fellow player.
Same thing, really.
Yeah. Sorry, I got grief decks on the mind.
I mean, you are sealing the Elder Sign after all. I like how we just talked about how the Crystalline Elder Sign wasn't a big deal. Now we're like, don't steal the Elder Sign for very long.
Well, I think there's a difference though between +1 and the Elder Sign, right? Like the Elder Signs,
I would agree.
a lot of characters have really decent ones.
I would say it depends on the investigator.
Yeah.
Agnes or Roland, they don't care about the Elder Sign too often. Like, it's just another 0 to them. So.
Right, like if you're Roland, Mateo, and Agnes, you seal that Elder Sign, and they can just deal with it.
I think Roland and Agnes would be looking at Mateo and being like, "What are you doing here?
We're fine on our own. Thanks.
We've got this." Yeah.
no, thank you.
There.
But guys,
are you selling something? Or I mean, so weakness, I suppose. Bears mentioning as well.
Nick, you're the weakest one on this cast. Why don't you?
Jesus, getting it from all angles today. Serpents of Yig is a weakness. Fight 2, health 3, and evade 2. Humanoid, monster, and serpent traded. Prey is Father Mateo only. They are hunter. And revelation: search the chaos bag for the Elder Sign chaos token and seal it on Serpents of Yig. They deal 1 damage and 1 horror.
Well,
I'm going to say something kind of extreme. I want
boy.
you guys to let it sink in for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the investigator, this is one of the worst signature weaknesses we have.
Yes.
Okay, well, that was easier than I expected. I'll put this lube away now.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think he's a very, very manageable enemy. Like if you have a guardian partner, they're like, oh yeah, I got him. Right? Like,
but it's the fact that for most mystics to handle even just a 3 health enemy, they require more setup than the other classes. That's already what's setting him back.
Guys, what's more obnoxious, 3 health enemies or left-hand turns?
Probably left-hand turns, because there's always the chance someone could be, something could go wrong there.
Maimed or killed. But close second is 3 health enemies. I mean, because he gets the 5 XP, there is that option for him to go straight to shriveling level 5. And now you right, like at the
those
very
serpents
start.
got nothing on me now.
Right, but that's a decent tool. As much as I hate it,
yes,
I've played so many games where the mystic goes insane in like 3 turns because they keep on drawing tokens.
Ransom Man answered correctly. Left-handed enemies.
That have
not entirely unlike the Serpents of Yig here. Look at that.
Oh, he is left-handed.
Left-handed 3 health enemies are the worst.
Yep.
No books don't work for us.
I mean, yeah. So playing solo, pain in the ass. Playing multiplayer, we're gonna have hopefully someone who can help you out with this guy. Not too bad.
Yeah. And it is a small comfort that if you've managed to get out his signature asset, then the Serpents of Yig hops into play. They can't seal the Elder Sign.
Yes.
So
yeah,
a little bit of reprieve there, but he's still just so obnoxious. God damn, I hate 3 health.
Nick Oh, you just read. Never mind. Nicker.
Could you not see through the mists?
I had trouble seeing Nick's name. Nick Sean.
I'm really excited to read this one. So we've got level 0, Mists of Rilia. It's of course a mystic asset. Level 0, cost 2. It has 1 agility pip, spell trait, and uses 4 charges. Action, spend 1 charge. Evade. This evasion attempt uses willpower instead of agility. If you succeed, after evading the chosen enemy, you may move to a connecting location. If a bad stuff symbol is revealed during this evasion attempt, choose and discard a card from your hand. And of course, it takes up an arcane slot. I have found this to be a great card.
Me too.
In most mystics, I oscillate back and forth between 1 of and 2 of.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That extra move, man,
it's huge.
Solo is so good. Because there's so often, especially in investigators that aren't thin, you'll already be dealing with an enemy. Say you miss a shot that was supposed to kill it. The turn ends. Next Mythos phase, you pop another enemy, and it's like, oh god,
Yeah.
And if you don't have any extra actions to evade, it's like, okay, what do? I evade. That's going to eat an action that I could be using to try to kill it, blah, blah, blah. But here you can just be like, all right, evade one. All right, now I've only got one guy with me, and I have a little breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you've only got one enemy, it's like, hey, evade, free move. I mean, anytime you can get a free move, that is just solid.
Yeah. And
I like now knowing what the sound you make for Mists of really is. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
Super fast sound. Yeah, you know, and even if you do draw one of the bad stuff tokens and you still succeed, it's like, I'm discarding a card to move.
Yep.
So, like, that's the worst case scenario, right?
And I play shortcut succeed. All the damn time, so
right.
I'm okay with it.
A card in your hand, is it random?
No,
it's
just choose.
So you get to choose. So not bad. Like, it turns a card in your hand into shortcut. I would do that a lot, especially in solo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, what else do you say? So good.
I find this card super unique.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice little tool in ye old Mystic toolbox.
Yep, it's a stone's throw away from
being
Nick's next card to read.
Yes, the Chthonian Stone, Stygian Waymark. It's a 3-resource costed mystic asset with 1 intellect icon, item, relic, and cursed traded.
Your laundry.
My laundry is done.
No, it's like really done. Apparently,
it is. Yeah, it knew I was recording. So, its game text reads: Seal, Skull, Cultist, Tablet, or Elder Thing forced after you reveal an auto fail symbol during a skill test. Return the Chthonian Stone to your hand. Takes up 1 hand slot.
I'm sad that you corrected yourself when you were about to say tentacle. And tentacle.
Yeah, I like this. I usually, I don't always include it, but the thing is, Mystics don't always have a lot that's competing for the hand slot, usually.
Accurate.
So I think a one-of in most Mystic builds is generally a good idea. It's also unique, so you don't necessarily want to double up, because I've had it where I have one in play, and there's no threat of it going anywhere, and then I just have one sitting in my hand. What I think is really cool and what makes this card really awesome in multiplayer is that it only goes away after you reveal the auto fail token. So your allies can reveal that tentacle token all day long, and it's not going to mess anything up. But I'm actually very positive on this card.
Yeah, I've used it a lot in. Oh, sorry, go Sean.
I think the strength of this card kind of depends on the campaign a little bit more than a lot of cards, especially a lot of the seal cards. Because different campaigns have really done different things with the bad stuff tokens. If you look at Night of the Zealot or even Dunwich, there's kind of a hierarchy, a very strict hierarchy of how bad those bad stuff tokens are. So in Dunwich, if you can seal the Elder Thing, that is very solid. But then you move into, say Forgotten Age, where kind of depending on the scenario, the cultist might be really bad in one and not quite so bad in the other. It just it adds a different value proposition to this card in different campaigns.
I find too in standalone as well. Like if you look at Rougarou, there's one Elder Thing in there, and it's brutal. It's like the Rougarou moves towards you and attacks you 8 times, and you die, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Right. I think that's what it says.
Yeah,
checks out.
Yep. So it's. I think it has higher value, like you said, in certain scenarios and certain campaigns. I've made one of my most favorite decks, the castration / manscaping gym bag control archetype, and this is a key piece to it. And once this gets out, I mean, it's fantastic. As far as the numbers go, taking that bad sign out is great. I also like it in, and Nick, we've discussed this too, 1 or 2 of in Ursula, if you're running Ellie. Or putting this in Jim with Ellie as well, so you can grab his trumpet or the stone, you have a better chance of hitting a relic.
Right.
And just as Ursula, just grabbing the worst token out of the bag. Whatever you
want.
Yeah,
Ursula loves this too, because until you get Bow, you don't have anything else really taking up those hand slots, unless you're throwing magnifying glasses or whatever in there. But great card. I'm running one of these in my current Akachi run through TFA, and it's done work. So
I'm gonna just protect us from any other bad tokens by reading the protective incantation. Almost goes part and parcel with the Chthonian Stone. So it's protective incantation, a level 1 cost asset. It has a willpower icon. There you go, Nick.
Thank you.
Ritual, blessed. Group limit 2 copies of protective incantation in play. Seal any token except for the autofill. Forced at the end of your turn, you must either spend 1 resource or discard protective incantation, and it takes up a arcane slot. I love this card.
Me too.
With Chthonian Stone.
Yep. And the thing is with this one, like, because it's seal any except auto fail, like, I usually end up going, what's the biggest negative? There's a negative 5 in the bag right now? Nope, take that out. Because I don't think we've seen any other cards that can seal any of the negative numbers. Yeah, just the positive ones. So this is super useful in that regard. And like I said, I'm running an Akachi build with this. And Akachi loves this because Akachi can usually be pretty heavy stacked with cash.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping this thing in play isn't that big of a deal.
So let me level us out here. I like this card, but I think it's a great card in a deck that can bear its limitations.
Yes.
So I think, and those limitations are you need a resource engine because this gets expensive after a while. Basically, if you don't have a resource engine, you are committing to playing basically nothing else for the duration that you have this out. Which, mid to late game could work, but I don't think a lot of decks like that. And second, you have to be able to give up an arcane slot. For a lot of mainline Mystics, that's rough. But that said, we're getting more and more options that, for Mystics to do things that would normally, be your Shriveling or your Rite of Seeking or fit in that arcane slot. So, I feel like the space for it is opening up with every pack.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that this is worth it to slap down, like, okay, you have 1 resource left in your pool. You play this, you seal one of the worst tokens that's possible. I'm sorry, you have 2 left. So then you pay your 1 to keep this in play. And then next turn you don't worry about it. So then you effectively get 2 rounds out of this and that's it. Do you think it's still worth the card space in the arcane slot for 2? I suppose it's super dependent, but
if it's right near the end of the game and you think it's going to be the last 2 turns, maybe.
Or if it's 4-player and you go first the first round and last the next round.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough to say.
I think it depends.
Yeah. Ransom Man has a good point in chat, like in a Daisy deck with Milan.
Sure.
That's like, I mean, if you're playing 3 or 4-player and she's not taking Shriveling as her defensive options, then this is a great card to take up those slots because, I mean, everyone knows how Milan works. Yeah.
Well, and Mystic has a lot of resource generation in it as well. I think more than Guardian for sure, and more than I think maybe even I think more than Seeker. I think Seeker just has Milan and Unearth the Ancients, and that's about it.
Pretty much Milan, yep.
Yeah, but I mean, Mystic, you have at least 3 different cards. Granted, nobody plays Alchemical Transmutation, but you have at least 3 different cards that can get your resources. So,
I mean, I guess Alchemical Transmutation is slightly more attractive when you've got that -5 in Thrall, but let's not get carried away.
That's well, even still, would you do that or Forbidden Knowledge? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is probably a comment more just on the seal mechanic and that bag control archetype that you were talking about, Scott, but I've actually come around to the idea that it's not as good in standalone. It's way better as you build into it through a campaign because the standalone bags just have so many more tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Taking 1 out just has a lessened effect. So you and I were talking about that the other day, and you posed the big question that no one really wanted to answer because it's kind of painful. But like, okay, you can do all this stuff and seal these tokens and protect everyone, but is it worth the work?
Yeah.
I'm still out, but I think in campaign, it's definitely more worth the work than in standalone.
I think the issue is the big payoff is Seal of the Elder Sign, where you can actually seal the autofail. And
you mean sign of the seventh sign. Seal of the seventh sign.
Seal of the seventh sign. Yes. Sorry.
Psilocybin.
The seal the autofail card.
Yeah.
it's a big thing to work towards. And so getting this on like through a campaign, I think is tough because there's like, I guess the way I build the bag control things, I put so much effort towards that
Right.
I'm not sure how I would work that in a campaign. Like, what would I start with, and what would I move
Right.
out
What's
to
your
move
first
pieces
buy?
in? Yeah, so
Well, I'm currently doing like my Akachi build is leaning bag control because I picked up Sign of the Seventh Seal of the Seventh Sign. I honestly
See-
cannot keep that one straight. I picked up, as Sean would call it, Dormammu, and that in Akachi is super fun. And yeah, I really like maybe not building a deck that's built for bag control, but I love splashing that into Mystics and just feeling like you have more say over the pacing of the game than any other class. So
and sorry, just for listeners, what's Dormammu?
from Doctor Strange.
No, I mean what card?
Oh, the
Seal of the Seventh Sign. Sign of the Seventh Seal.
7.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Also for me, not just for listeners. Well,
so guys, that being said, I don't feel very good about the future.
would you say you have a bit of some foreknowledge that is shaded?
I wondered where you were going to go with that. Is it me?
It's like you guys are actively
it's me,
getting worse with each one.
I think it's you, Sean. Besides,
Okay.
this is like your favorite card ever, so.
I do love it. Okay, so Dark Prophecy is a level 0 Mystic event. It costs 1. It has a willpower and an agility icon. It is augury traded and fast. Play when you would reveal a chaos token. Note that it doesn't have to be for a skill test. Reveal 5 chaos tokens instead of 1. Choose one of those tokens with a bad stuff symbol, or tentacle, or autofail.
That's also bad.
Yes, also bad. To resolve, and ignore the rest. If no such token is revealed, you may choose any one of those tokens to resolve and ignore the rest.
In any Mystic, this is good. In Gym, this is amazing.
Yep. So I think you have to be doing one of two things here. You have to be kind of playing around with token play. You know, you've got, we'll talk about cards later, but you've got Counterspell, Premonition, anything that would let you do something with a specific token if you're trying to dig for it. Or you have to be playing Diana Stanley. In either of those decks, this is a great card.
Or Jim.
Well, yeah, but Jim inherently is playing with tokens.
But
Right.
Diana Stanley, you ignore the rest, you don't cancel it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
She triggers off and ignore. She's cool.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
ignore or cancel. Or just, sorry,
Yeah.
it is ignore or cancel?
It's ignore or cancel.
Oh, well, never mind. This is a good card in Diana.
Do you think there's
Also-
merit in playing this in a Mystic that isn't going heavy control, but maybe has like a Chthonian Stone?
Possibly.
I think there's merit to this. Just to me, it's like you're drawing 5 tokens, and a lot of the chaos bags and campaigns are like 14
12?
to 18. Like, yeah, and there's some that are like super low, right? And so you're drawing a large percentage of the bag. You're probably gonna hit one of those. You have to know that you're gonna be able to pass some of those bad stuff tokens, right? Like a skull is minus 2.
You wouldn't. Yeah. When you play this, you'd go, I hope I get a skull, or I hope I get a tablet. You have one that you're aiming for.
Mhm.
But yeah, this one I like it. And obviously, like Sean said, it fits with any deck that's looking for specific things if you're playing Defiance or something like that. However, I think there could be room for one of this in most 3-player up Mystic builds.
Yeah. I don't think there's room in solo.
No.
I think your deck is too cramped. This is a nice card, but not a nice to have, but not a need to have.
Except for Jim and Diana.
You're right.
I would argue, yeah, those two would be exceptions.
Yep. So the the Dream combo, and I know we haven't talked about all these cards yet officially on AV Club, but they're out there if you want to look these up. So the Dream combo is you have an enemy attack you, you play a Hypnotic Gaze, And then when you go to pull that token to see if you do the damage back to the enemy, you play this. So you just vastly improve your chances of pulling the token you're looking for.
Uh-huh.
And then when you hit, you play Eldritch Inspiration, which was previewed by that other podcast.
Oh, yes.
And you do double damage. So that's like top of the hill jank for me, but it's the holy grail.
What is that, like 5-6 resources and 3 cards?
To do like 4 damage back to an enemy, though.
Oh wow, yeah, okay. Or
That's wow.
Or test shriveling twice. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Get out of here.
But
with
cool,
your logic.
yeah, cool.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. I love jank, so that's good. Yeah. All right. Well, what's your favorite card? And you know what? I'll even include Mateo in this option because I don't think he's my favorite card out of the Mystic cards in this box.
Really?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's fun in 4-player. I don't like him solo, but he's not my favorite card out of the 5.
Right.
I gotta go Mists. We had Blinding Light. It was okay as an evade option for Mystics who don't have decent natural evade.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it does so much work in solo. Like it's got a lot of flexibility in multiplayer because in multiplayer there are times where you just someone needs to evade that enemy because it's just messing up our business. And yeah, Mists is just a great tool. I'm happy to have it.
Nick?
I also am very fond of Mists, but I'm actually going to say Protective Incantation, simply because it's cheaper than the Chthonian Stone, and it provides me with more options as far as sealing. So it's one of those cards that even if it's only in play for a round or 2, I still feel really good about playing it for the most part. But yeah, the biggest downside to it would be that arcane slot, like Sean brought up.
Yeah. Can I cheat and say my favorite card is the seal mechanic?
No.
Okay. I think I have to go
the Nick veto.
Yeah. I think I have to go. I think I prefer the stone ever so slightly because Ellie can grab it. And that offers some interesting tricks with Jim, with Daisy, what's her name? Ursula. I almost called her Rhonda for some reason. Anyways.
Rhonda.
I don't know. But I fully also want to say, like, Mists is such a great card for Mystics. They needed it.
Yeah.
Just, the stone is my favorite.
I mean, we're picking favorites, but this is a good set of cards. I use all these cards on the regular.
Yeah.
Dark Prophecy is the only one that's like a step below the rest, I would say. And that's just because it's more niche.
Yeah, it's more selective about what decks can actually utilize it. Which is exactly what niche means. I just thought I'd say that.
Thank you, Captain Dictionary. All right. Well, that wraps up our TFA Mystic episode. We are going to move right on to Survivor. So if you're listening live, stay tuned. If you're listening on the podcast, hit forward by 15 seconds.
Does that mean we have to wait 15 seconds now?
Does that mean that we're releasing them as one episode?
No.